What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, recently we saw Team USA in the Olympics in France, Paris, France, win the gold medal against France in the championship game, and we saw a plethora of players on Team USA, some of the older players uh, actually star and be some of the uh, biggest stars on the biggest stage, the global stage, when it comes to sports. In particular, Steph Curry the last two games. I think he scored 60 points in the last two games. Many of us feel like that should have catapulted him to the MVP, but sports politics being what it is nowadays, it went to somebody else who I'm not going to name. Recently, Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards sat down for a conversation on the boardroom, detailing their strange experience following the Americans' emphatic victory that saw the trio of NBA stars, including Curry, each get drug tested. Anthony Edwards said, quote, after the gold medal, me and him, talking about Durant, had what do you call it? A drug test. We couldn't really celebrate in the locker room for real because me, him, and Steph had to take like a drug test or something. Now, someone explained to me why Team USA, who have always been favored to win these events, especially since the professionals have been allowed to play since 92, Team USA, which usually dominates in basketball competition, except for that one year when they put out the amateur team led by the guy I'm not going to name in 2004. Other than that, they've always won gold and usually dominated. So when they put on a dominant performance against France, all of a sudden they're drug tested. Now you can make an argument that look, France hosted the Olympics. They went against France. Was that them being spiteful? Possibly. That's how I look at it, right? I think that was France being spiteful. No, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter I've ever seen. I've been hesitant to call him the greatest shooter. I've been calling him the greatest three-point shooter for almost 10 years now, 9 years, but at least 8 years. But the greatest shooter, I've been real hesitant to say that. But man, I've never seen anybody can make those types of shots he makes, man. Spot up threes, off the dribble, off one leg, leaning away, leaning in, ISO situations, ISO dribble, step back. I mean, he can do it all when it comes to shooting. Now, you could argue I've seen more consistent mid-range shooters, but when you combine it all, difficulty, three-point shooting, range, mid-range, scoring in the paint, free throw shooting, he's the best. I got to give him his props, man. But having said all of that, right? If they're so amazed at someone at Steph Curry's age, 36, or KD, who I think is 37, playing at that level, who was the Olympic MVP again? Certain guy, right? And won't he be 40 in December? Why wasn't he drug tested? Why wasn't the same dude that is literally playing on a team with a teammate, Ant, who's not much older than his son? This guy's playing in the NBA against guys who are young enough to be his son. You clearly see that he stopped dyeing his beard. You can see all the gray in his beard now. Starting to look like season 1 Grady off of Sanford and Son, right? But he don't get drug tested. That guy don't get drug tested. But Anthony Edwards does, who's 23 years old. 23 years old. Make that make sense, man. He don't get drug tested. Anthony Davis doesn't get drug tested. By the way, wasn't Ant at one point in time part of Clutch? But then he left. And it's funny, ever since he left Clutch, he's been on a whole different trajectory. I mean, he already was on that trajectory, but ever since he left Clutch, I think he was with Clutch. He left him. He's with another sports agency. Now, all of a sudden, he gets drug tested. Maybe that's somebody being spiteful. Maybe that's, somebody behind the scenes affiliated with Clutch wanting to be spiteful because somebody else get attention other than a balding 40-year-old RoboCop-looking dark side face, helmet having ass, Darth Vader complexion face, jawline having motherfucker. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.